Hey, what's going on guys? So 2018 has been a pivotal year for me. This was the year where I reviewed the most films I ever have. And I also started studying film at university this year. So for my last video of 2018, I'm going to be doing my top 5 best and worst movies of 2018. This will be kind of interesting because I haven't done a top 10 video since my top 10 upcoming reactors and background history video back in 2016. So before we get into this list, I'm just going to say I haven't seen every film this year. So do not expect A Star Is Born to be on here. I know that's a film that everyone loves, but I haven't seen it. Also, this is my personal list, so this isn't the top 5 best and worst of the year. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the best of 2018. So before we get into the top 5, I just want to say some honorable mentions that couldn't make the list. But if I was making like a top 10 video, these would be on the list. But in no particular order, I have Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Mission Impossible Fallout, Black Klansman, The Hate You Give, Incredibles 2, First Man, and Aquaman. Those are my honorable mentions, so let's get started with number 5. For number 5 we have Upgrade. I really enjoyed this film. I found its premise to be very interesting. A chip that gets implanted into this man and then the chip can just take over his body. This was a very well directed film, and especially like the camera movements during the action sequences. There could have been a little less filler in the film, but overall I was not bored at all, and the ending of the film was a surprise for me. Number 4 I have A Quiet Place. I actually saw this for the first time a couple days ago when I was on the plane to Florida. If you didn't know already, I'm currently on holiday, and I really liked this film. It was very refreshing. There were a few issues, you know, because if you actually think about it, there are a lot of things that did not make sense in this film, but overall it was a very suspenseful thriller. The acting was great from John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Even the kids did a decent job, even though the kid characters themselves were kind of annoying. And the ending did kind of throw me off a little bit, but throughout the whole film, I was silent, paying attention, because I was invested. For number 3 we have Creed 2. Well, I feel like the first one was a better film. This was a fantastic follow-up, and in my opinion, a good way to end the Rocky franchise as a whole. They really do not need to make another sequel. I feel like after this film, the story is now done. Sylvester Stallone brings another excellent performance, and Michael B. Jordan, fam, he is actually an upcoming actor, fam. But he was good in the first Creed and in Fruitvale Station. He kind of stepped back a little bit in, you know, that Fantastic Four film. But in 2018, with Black Panther and Creed 2, yeah, he's definitely one to look out for. The boxing fights in this film were nothing like, you know, the one take scene in the first one. But the boxing fights in here were still good. I really like the fact that they oomphed the sound design for this, because the hits were extra crunchy and you could feel that impact. The screenplay for the film was really well done. We got more character development, and for the villains you understand where they're coming from. Overall, Creed 2 definitely one of my favourites in the Rocky franchise. Number 2 is Searching. Definitely a film that Unfriended tried to be. A film that has the perspective of a computer screen. This was a mystery film that had so many twists and turns. I had no idea how the film was going to conclude. The film also knows how the internet works and uses real websites, and that made it far more realistic. John Chow did a great job, and so did Deborah Messing. Please go see this film if you haven't seen it already. This was a huge surprise for me. Throughout the whole movie I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I love films that make you think. Like, this film was actually better the second time I saw it, because you see those little details you missed because you knew the outcome. Basically, this was a great film, and if you haven't seen it already, go see it. If you wanted to see my full review of this, the link will be in the description. Alright, so my number 1 film of the year for me was, of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Ah, man. The animation was fast-paced and eye-popping. The action was exciting, the characters were relatable, interesting, and humorous. And the overall style was like nothing we've ever seen before in a Spider-Man film. After finishing the film, I immediately wanted to watch it again. This is by far one of my favourite Spider-Man films. Is this better than Spider-Man 1 and 2 though? I do not know yet. I've seen those films many times before, and I've only seen Spider-Verse once. Spider-Man 2 is my favourite Spider-Man film, but I don't know. Maybe after some time, Spider-Verse may overtake that. But as of now, it's tied with Spider-Man 1. But yeah. Those were my top 5 best films of the year. Now let's move on to the top 5 worst. I only have 2 dishonorable mentions before we get into the actual list. That is Pacific Rim Uprising, which was just basically another Transformers film, and I don't know, didn't really find it that interesting. And Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which started good, but came very generic and repetitive. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this over with. At number 5 we have Venom.
Like a bird in the wind.
Did not like this film. I really did not care for any of the characters in this film. The screenplay was not good at all. The action was difficult to follow with all the shaky cam, and the humor was very on and off, and the CGI was just not very good. It was way too obvious. The actors clearly did not care about this. The only bearable part of this film was Tom Hardy as Venom, but that was basically it. For the most part, I was just so uninterested in this film, and I cannot believe people actually enjoyed this film. I don't know, just different tastes I guess, but if you want me to go into more detail in this film, there is a link to my review in the description. For number 4 we have The Happy Time Murders. This was another missed opportunity to have an adult film with a cartoon lens. I don't know if this was as bad as Sausage Party, but the film was just so boring and just not funny. Like, they really should have just gone the route that they had before by having just an adult mystery noir starring puppets. But they just had to make it a raunchy comedy, and it just got really boring really quickly. I mean, the trailers were surprising and all that, but all the highlights in the film were in the trailer. There was a mystery in this film, but honestly it was so predictable. Like, you could guess who the killer is and you're probably right. Melissa McCarthy was better in this than she was in Ghostbusters, but again, nothing that great. I mean, for me, as the secretary was worse in my opinion. I just found it to be very awkward, and that's basically what this movie was as a whole, just awkward. For number 3 we have Skyscraper. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I love you man, but you need to sit down, think about the movies you're accepting to do, because sometimes you can do harmless fun films like Rampage and Jumanji, which can be enjoyable, but then you do films like this, which takes itself way too seriously for its own good. The dialogue was very cliche and uninspired, the villain was more like a side mook rather than an actual villain, and the kids were not great actors either. The thing is, yeah, you do not believe the stunts in this film for a second. It was just dumb and unoriginal, because you can get the same film with Die Hard, which is a much better film. So basically, Skyscraper is just a waste of time. Do yourself a favor and just do not watch this. Again, link to my full review in the description. Alright, so for number 2 we have The Predator. Easily the worst out of all the Predator movies. Fam, you think that Shane Black, a man who was a character in the original Predator film, would understand how it's done? The original Predator film was all about tension, like you rarely even saw the Predator in that film. But in 2018's The Predator, it focuses more on the comedy, and that was just the wrong direction to go for. 95% of the dialogue consists of comedy, and it is just not funny. Most of it is just so annoying. None of the characters were likable. The big CGI Predator in the second half was just embarrassing. They did not need to go that far, and they did not need to make this film. This was probably the most disappointing film of 2018. Link to full review in the description. Alright, so if you watch my reviews, you already know what my number 1 worst film of the year is, and that is Robin Hood. Throughout the film I just wanted to leave because of how embarrassing the film was. The film was a mess. They had no clue what they wanted to do. They tried to modernize Robin Hood, yet it's still set in the past. The characters were very bland and one-dimensional, the color palette was ugly looking, the score was weak, the action was nothing special, the villain was over the top like some cartoon character. I just don't think they had a clear idea what they wanted to do. Again, I go into more detail on this in my review, but yeah, those are my top 5 best and worst films of 2018. I will continue to be doing movie reviews in 2019, so for the next half of the video, let's just go through all the announced mainstream 2019 films that we have next year. So, what do we have in 2019? Couldn't see this film at the BFI Film Festival, so I'll defo check this out. Looks like a mix between Saw and the Belko Experiment. This could be good, but I can also see this being bad. Yes fam, I can't wait for this one. M. Night Shyamalan is actually back. This looks cute, but I probably won't see it. If this is good, we'll have another solid animated trilogy. The flip is this? Skip? Oh nice, a live action Astro Boy remake. Not gonna lie, I don't think they're gonna recapture the magic from the first, but hopefully it will still be fun. Didn't think they'd make a sequel to this, but alright. I don't know about this. It's another Liam Neeson revenge movie, so you know, this looks okay. Not even that hype for this, not gonna lie, but I'll still check it out. Ooh, a new film by Jordan Peele? Yeah, definitely gonna go see this because I love Get Out. This looks interesting. I'm uncertain about this. Dumbo was one of my first Disney films, so I hope this will be good. This looks like it could be pretty funny, but it could be pretty cringe. The animation looks nice, but we've seen this story many times before. This looks very generic. Aight, fam, I'm not even sure if I'm actually gonna see this or not. This literally could be 2019's The Predator. My most anticipated film of the whole year. I'm gonna watch this, but why Detective Pikachu instead of a traditional Pokemon movie in live action? Aye, my guy John Wick. Fam, you cannot mess with John Wick. An Aladdin live action film with Will Smith as the genie. Alright. Oh snap! JJ Abrams, are you even allowed to do this? This looks magical and mystical, yet I know this will be messed up at the same time. This sounds interesting. Be about the monsters, not the humans. Man. He had a good run, X-Men. Just hurry up so you can go to Marvel. Just don't make this a Thor Ragnarok 2.0. Never seen the other Shaft film, so I don't know. Fam, they better have a damn good reason for making this. This has no choice but to be good. Wait, really? Aye, yes! Quentin Tarantino directing? Oh, you know I'm definitely gonna go see this. I can see this being hilarious. Honestly, who even cares anymore? Alright, so people are already saying this isn't accurate to the book. Firstly, you should just suspect that from Disney. But I haven't read the books and I think it looks cool. Wait. Are they seriously trying to piggyback off the Lego movie? Oh my days, are they seriously doing this? This just looks like the Trolls film. Again, I haven't seen the other one, so I don't know. Hey, I really like the first one, so I can't wait for this. This is more a film for my mom, not me. This looks pretty good. I mean, already this looks better than Jared Leto's Joker. Sounds pretty cool. Took them long enough. The first one was surprisingly witty, so I'll check this one out. Wait, this used to be an old TV show? Don't you think it's a little too soon for a Terminator reboot? Perfect casting. I have no opinion on this yet. Okay, so a Kingsman prequel. That should be interesting, but no Eggsy though? I can see the huge wave of little girls incoming already. This sounds interesting, but I want to see a trailer. The recent one wasn't that bad, so I'm actually down. I never grew up on the show, but I'm sure it'll be better than that other live action film attempt. I have no idea. And what the flip did they do to Sonic? What is that?